Have you ever felt like you were giving everything, your time, energy, heart, only to be met with indifference? Do you wonder why some people seem to command respect and admiration effortlessly while others struggle to be noticed? If you're tired of being overlooked, misunderstood, or undervalued, then you're in the right place. Too often we fall into the trap of believing that being liked or loved means sacrificing our own needs, becoming overly available, or bending over backward to please others. But here's the truth. This mindset does the opposite of what we hope. It diminishes our worth in the eyes of others. So how do you flip the script? How do you create a presence so compelling, so magnetic, that people not only notice you but deeply value you? This isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about becoming a version of yourself that commands respect and appreciation naturally. The strategies we'll explore today are rooted in authenticity, self-mastery, and timeless wisdom, principles that have been tested and proven to work. Throughout this journey, you'll learn how to elevate your sense of self-worth, set boundaries that protect your energy, and communicate with confidence. These strategies are practical, actionable, and transformative. By the end, you'll not only understand how to make others value you, but you'll also uncover a deeper appreciation for yourself. Let's start with the first strategy, arguably one of the most important steps to ensuring that others see your worth. Strategy 1. Set boundaries and enforce them. What does it mean to set boundaries? On the surface, it sounds simple. Draw a line and make sure no one crosses it. But ask yourself, how often have you compromised your own needs to keep the peace? How many times have you said yes when your heart was screaming no? The truth is, setting boundaries isn't just about keeping people out. It's about defining who you are and what you stand for. Boundaries are a declaration of your self-worth. When you set them, you're saying, I value myself enough to protect my time, energy. But the magic doesn't stop there. Enforcing boundaries, sticking to them even when it's uncomfortable, tells others that you mean what you say. Imagine this: you have a friend who constantly shows up late, leaving you waiting and frustrated. If you don't address it, you're silently telling them that your time is invaluable. But if you say, I can't wait more than 10 minutes next time, and hold to that, you're setting a standard. What happens next is remarkable. People start to respect the limits you establish because they realize you respect yourself. But why is this so hard? Why do so many of us feel guilty for setting boundaries? The answer lies in fear of rejection, of conflict, of being misunderstood. Here's where a Stoic mindset comes in. What others think of your boundaries is outside your control. Your responsibility is to act in alignment with your principles, regardless of how others react. Ask yourself, where in your life are you letting your boundaries slip? Is it at work, where you take on too much because you don't want to disappoint your boss? Is it in relationships, where you tolerate behaviors that make you feel small? Pinpoint those areas and start small. Now, what happens when someone pushes back? They might try to guilt you, test you, or even walk away. But here's the secret. Anyone who truly values you will respect the boundaries you set, and those who don't, they're revealing that they were only in it for what they could take from you. Setting boundaries is not about building walls, it's about creating clear pathways. You're not shutting people out, you're guiding them toward a healthier, more respectful way to interact with you. The paradox is this: when you set boundaries, people often end up valuing you more. So where will you start? What's one boundary you've been afraid to set, and what would enforcing it look like in your life? Remember, this isn't just about others valuing you, it's about you valuing yourself. When you master this first strategy, you'll find that it becomes easier to implement the others. Are you ready to take the next step toward becoming someone they can't help but respect and value? Let's move forward. Strategy 2. Cultivate self-respect first. Let me ask you this: how can anyone value you if you don't value yourself first? How can you expect respect when you look in the mirror and doubt your own worth? Self-respect is the foundation of everything. Without it, even the strongest strategies will crumble. With it, you become unshakable, radiating a confidence that draws people to you like a magnet. Think about it. When you see someone who genuinely respects themselves, someone who walks with purpose, speaks with conviction, and seems immune to the trivial opinions of others, don't you feel compelled to respect them too? It's not arrogance, it's not ego, it's the quiet, steady assurance that they know their worth. That's the energy we're aiming for. So how do you cultivate self-respect? It starts with how you treat yourself. Do you honor your commitments to yourself, or do you let excuses creep in? Do you prioritize your well-being, or do you constantly put others first at your own expense? Self-respect isn't something you're born with, it's something you build, one decision at a time. Let's break it down. First, look at how you talk to yourself. Are you kind or critical? Do you encourage yourself, or do you let self-doubt take over? Stoic philosophy teaches us that our minds are our greatest tools. Marcus Aurelius himself said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. If you allow your inner voice to tear you down, how can you expect to stand tall? Start by challenging negative thoughts. When you hear that voice in your head saying, "You're not good enough," stop and ask, "Is this true, or is this just fear talking?" Replace self-criticism with affirmations of your worth. This isn't about false positivity, it's about aligning your thoughts with the truth of who you are and what you're capable of. Next, examine your habits. Are your actions aligned with the person you want to be? For example, if you want to be someone who commands respect, are you showing up on time, taking care of your health, and following through on your promises? Every time you honor a commitment to yourself, you're reinforcing your self-respect. Self-respect also means knowing when to say no. We've all been there, agreeing to things we don't want to do just to avoid disappointing someone else. But here's the reality. Every time you say yes to something that drains you, you're saying no to yourself. Is that the message you want to send? Now, let's take this deeper. What are your standards? For how others treat you, for what you tolerate, for the kind of relationships you allow into your life. People will treat you exactly the way you teach them to. If you accept disrespect, they'll assume it's okay. If you stand firm, they'll learn to rise to meet your standards. Self-respect is also about resilience. Life will test you. People will criticize you. Not everyone will see your value, and that's okay. A Stoic approach teaches us to focus on what we can control, our actions, our mindset, and our response to adversity. You don't need everyone to validate you. You need you to validate you. Now, here's a challenge for you. Take one step today to show yourself more respect. Maybe it's setting aside time for something you love. Maybe it's standing up for yourself in a conversation. Maybe it's letting go of a habit or relationship that's been holding you back. Whatever it is, start small. Every act of self-respect sends a powerful message, not just to the world, but to yourself. Imagine the ripple effect. When you respect yourself, you're less likely to tolerate disrespect from others. You become more confident, more grounded, and more magnetic. People sense this energy, and they respond to it. They value you because you've shown them how to. So let me ask you, what's one thing you can do today to treat yourself with more respect? Let us know in the comments by writing number 1 if this strategy resonates with you. And if you're finding these insights valuable, don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button. Your support helps us continue sharing powerful strategies like this one. Remember, self-respect isn't just a strategy, it's a way of life. When you build it, everything else begins to fall into place. So, are you ready to step into the next level of your self-worth? Let's keep going. The next strategy will take your growth even further. Strategy 3. Master the art of mystery. Have you ever met someone who seems to hold an air of mystery? Someone who doesn't lay all their cards on the table but leaves you intrigued, wanting to know more. There's something undeniably magnetic about people who don't reveal everything at once. Their allure isn't just in what they say or do, but in what they choose not to say or do. This isn't about playing games or being secretive for the sake of it. It's about cultivating a sense of intrigue, leaving others curious about the depths they've yet to discover in you. And here's the truth. When people feel there's more to you than meets the eye, they start to value what they do know, because they sense there's something deeper worth exploring. So how do you master the art of mystery? It starts with what you reveal and when. Do you find yourself oversharing in an attempt to connect? Do you rush to fill silences in conversations, afraid that people will lose interest if you don't keep talking? While it may feel like openness strengthens bonds, too much too soon often has the opposite effect. Think about a well-told story. The best storytellers don't give away the ending in the first chapter. They build tension layer by layer, drawing you in. You can apply the same principle to how you interact with others. Share enough to be authentic and relatable, but hold back just enough to keep them wondering. This doesn't mean withholding important truths or being intentionally vague. Instead, it's about pacing. When you meet someone new, focus on listening more than talking. Ask thoughtful questions that show genuine interest in their perspective. Let your presence speak volumes before your words do. Here's a question to reflect on. How often do you give people the chance to miss you? If you're always available, always reachable, and always sharing updates about your life, there's no space for curiosity to grow. Consider taking a step back sometimes, not as a strategy to manipulate, but as a way to honor your own time and energy. Your absence can speak as powerfully as your presence. Mystery also comes from being multifaceted. What are the passions, skills, or interests that you've yet to fully share? When you focus on personal growth and exploring new dimensions of yourself, you naturally become more interesting. People will sense that you're not static, you're constantly evolving, and they'll want to keep up with your journey. A critical part of mastering mystery is emotional control. How often do you allow your emotions to dictate your actions? For example, when someone upsets you, do you immediately react, or do you take a moment to assess the situation? Stoic philosophy teaches us the value of self-restraint, not as a way to suppress feelings, but as a way to ensure our actions align with our values. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have to assemble your life yourself, action by action, and be satisfied if each one achieves its goal as far as possible. No one can stop you from that." In the same way, each interaction you have can be a step toward building your presence and intrigue. You don't need to reveal everything in a single moment. Let your actions speak, and let others discover your depth over time. Another important question: are you comfortable with silence? Many of us rush to fill conversational gaps, fearing that silence signals disinterest. But silence, when used wisely, can be powerful. It shows confidence and allows others to lean in. It's in those quiet moments that people often reflect more deeply on what you've shared or wonder what you might share next. Here's an exercise to try. The next time you're in a conversation, intentionally leave space for others to speak. Instead of immediately offering your opinion or story, ask yourself, is this the right time to share, or can I let this moment breathe? You'll find that this approach not only creates mystery but also fosters deeper, more meaningful connections. Finally, remember that mystery doesn't mean being aloof or unapproachable. It's about balancing openness with intentionality. When you reveal parts of yourself, your passions, your dreams, your struggles, do so thoughtfully, in ways that resonate. And trust that the parts you choose to hold back for now will only make you more compelling in the long run. So what are the layers of yourself that you've yet to fully explore or share? How can you start pacing your interactions in a way that invites curiosity rather than answers it too quickly? Mastering the art of mystery isn't about becoming someone else. It's about embracing your depth and allowing others to discover it piece by piece. When you do this, you'll find that people not only value you more, they'll be drawn to you in ways you never imagined. They'll want to invest their time and energy in understanding who you truly are. And as they uncover those layers, they'll realize how rare and valuable your presence really is. Strategy 4. Focus on personal growth and success. What is it about success and growth that captivates people? Why are we naturally drawn to those who are constantly striving to improve, who radiate ambition and purpose? It's because growth signifies movement, and movement inspires admiration. When you focus on personal growth and success, you send a powerful message. You value yourself enough to invest in your potential. That energy is contagious, and it makes others take notice. Ask yourself, are you investing in your growth, or are you stagnant? Are you taking steps to become the best version of yourself, Or are you coasting, hoping things will fall into place? The truth is, people value those who value themselves, and few things demonstrate self-worth better than relentless personal development. But here's the key. Personal growth isn't about showing off or proving yourself to others. It's about cultivating a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling to you. When you're genuinely committed to improving your skills, expanding your knowledge, and pursuing your passions, the results naturally shine through. Others will sense that you're a person on a mission, and they'll want to be part of your journey. Let's break this down. Growth begins with clarity. Do you have a vision for your life? What are your goals, big or small, that ignite your passion? Without direction, it's easy to drift. Take some time to reflect on what truly matters to you. Is it advancing in your career? Strengthening your relationships? Mastering a new skill? Once you identify your goals, map out a plan to achieve them. And remember, success doesn't have to mean monumental achievements overnight. Growth is found in the small, consistent steps you take every day. Maybe it's waking up 30 minutes earlier to read or exercise. Maybe it's dedicating time each week to learning something new. These habits compound over time, transforming you into someone who not only inspires others but also deeply respects themselves. Now let's address the elephant in the room: setbacks. Growth isn't linear, and success doesn't come without failure. Stoic wisdom reminds us that obstacles aren't barriers, they're opportunities. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action." What stands in the way becomes the way. When you embrace challenges as part of your growth, you build resilience and fortitude, qualities that others admire and respect. But here's the thing. Your growth isn't just about you. It impacts the people around you. When you pursue your goals, you become an example of what's possible. You inspire others to aim higher in their own lives. Well, think about the last time you saw someone working tirelessly toward a goal. Didn't it make you want to step up your game? Your growth has the power to spark transformation in others. So where do you start? Begin by investing in yourself. Take a class, read books that challenge your thinking, or surround yourself with people who push you to grow. Growth also means stepping out of your comfort zone. Are there areas in your life where fear is holding you back? Whether it's starting a new project, speaking up in a meeting, or pursuing a dream, take the leap. Growth lives on the other side of fear. Here's a question to reflect on. Are you living in alignment with your potential? If not, what's one small action you can take today to move closer to your goals? Start there. Growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress. As you continue to grow, people will notice. They'll see the passion and drive in your actions, and they'll value you for it. But more importantly, you'll value yourself. And that's the foundation for everything. If this resonates with you, let us know by commenting number 1 below. Like this video if you're ready to commit to your personal growth, and don't forget to subscribe for more strategies like this. Your journey to becoming someone they'll admire and respect starts with small steps taken every day. We're here to help guide you every step of the way, so stay with us for the next strategy. It's going to take things to an even deeper level. Strategy 5. Be selective with your time and energy. Time and energy are two of the most valuable resources you possess, yet they are often the most casually given away. Think about how often you've said yes to commitments or people that didn't align with your goals or values. How many times have you felt drained, wishing you had protected your energy more carefully? The way you allocate your time sends a powerful signal to others about how much you value yourself, and in turn, how much they should value you. Being selective doesn't mean being cold or unkind. It means recognizing that your resources are finite and treating them with the respect they deserve. It's about prioritizing quality over quantity in your interactions, focusing on the people and activities that genuinely matter to you. When you learn to guard your time and energy, you not only enhance your own well-being but also increase your value in the eyes of others. Let's explore why this works. When you're overly available, always saying yes, always responding immediately, you inadvertently diminish your perceived value. People may start to take you for granted, assuming that your time is limitless. On the other hand, when you're intentional about where and how you invest your energy, It creates a sense of exclusivity. People begin to see your time as something worth earning, rather than something they can take for granted. So how do you become more selective? It starts with clarity. Reflect on your priorities. What are the relationships, projects, and goals that truly matter to you? Once you have a clear sense of what's important, it becomes easier to say no to things that don't align. And saying no is crucial. Every yes to something unimportant is a no to something meaningful. This isn't always easy, especially if you're someone who's used to pleasing others. There's a fear that setting limits will disappoint people or make them think less of you. But here's the reality. Those who truly value you will respect your boundaries. And those who don't, their frustration reveals more about their expectations than about your worth. Being selective also requires self-awareness. How often do you find yourself agreeing to things out of guilt or obligation? How many of your commitments are driven by fear? Fear of missing out, fear of letting someone down, fear of being judged. When you let fear dictate your choices, you give away your power. Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus on what we can control: our actions, our choices, and our responses. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you seek tranquility, do less," or, more accurately, do what's essential, what the logos of a social being requires, and in the requisite way. In other words, let go of the non-essential. Strip your life down to what truly matters, and you'll find a sense of peace and clarity that others can't help but admire. Another aspect of being selective is managing your accessibility. Are you always available to answer a text, take a call, or meet up at a moment's notice? While it's great to be dependable, being too accessible can dilute your value. Consider creating moments of absence, not to play games but to honor your own time and space. When you're not constantly available, people begin to appreciate the moments they do have with you more deeply. This principle applies not only to relationships but also to how you spend your time overall. Are you investing your energy in activities that nourish you, or are you caught in a cycle of distractions? Social media, for example, can be a massive drain if not used intentionally. How much of your time is spent scrolling aimlessly, and how much is spent pursuing your passions or nurturing your well-being? To be selective, you also need to recognize the difference between productive and unproductive efforts. Not everything that demands your attention deserves it. Learn to delegate, let go of what doesn't serve you, and focus on the activities that bring you closer to your goals. Now consider the relationships in your life. Are there people who consistently uplift you, challenge you, and bring out the best in you? Or are there people who drain your energy, take without giving, or pull you away from your priorities? Being selective with your time often means reevaluating who you allow into your inner circle. This doesn't mean cutting people off without reason, but it does mean setting boundaries that protect your well-being. Being selective is a practice, not a one-time decision. It requires ongoing reflection and adjustment, but the rewards are immense. When you treat your time and energy as valuable, others will follow suit. They'll understand that being part of your life is a privilege, not a given. So ask yourself, where are you spending your time and energy? Are your actions aligned with your values and goals, or are you scattering your resources too thin? The more intentional you become, the more others will recognize your worth, and the more you'll feel it for yourself. Strategy 6. Communicate with clarity and confidence. Think for a moment about the last time someone truly captivated you with their words. Was it their choice of vocabulary, their tone, or was it the clarity and conviction with which they spoke? Communication is one of the most powerful tools for commanding respect and showing your value. When you express yourself with clarity and confidence, people naturally listen, and more importantly, they take you seriously. But let's be real. How often do we hold back from speaking our minds because we fear being judged or misunderstood? How often do we dilute our message with unnecessary apologies, filler words, or uncertainty? These habits may seem harmless, but they can subtly undermine how others perceive us. If you don't believe in your own words, how can you expect others to? The good news is that confident communication isn't an innate talent. It's a skill you can develop. It starts with knowing what you want to say and why it matters. Before entering any conversation, ask yourself, What is my goal here? What do I want the other person to take away? When you're clear on your purpose, your words naturally become more focused and impactful. Equally important is how you say it. Your tone, body language, and delivery all play a role in how your message is received. Do you speak with conviction, or do you trail off at the end of your sentences? Do you maintain eye contact, or do you avoid it out of nervousness? These small details make a big difference in how others perceive your confidence and, by extension, your value. Let's talk about clarity. Have you ever been in a conversation where someone dances around the point, leaving you confused or frustrated? Don't let that person be you. Clarity means being direct without being harsh. It's about saying exactly what you mean in a way that's easy to understand. This doesn't mean oversimplifying or being blunt. It means organizing your thoughts and delivering them with intention. Confidence, on the other hand, is about believing in your own perspective. It's not about having all the answers or dominating the conversation. It's about owning your viewpoint and sharing it with sincerity. Even when you're unsure or exploring new ideas, you can communicate with confidence by being honest about where you stand. Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Never let the future disturb you. You will meet it, if you have to, with the same weapons of reason which today arm you against the present." In the same way, approach every conversation with reason and purpose. Trust that your thoughts and words are valuable, and deliver them with that conviction. A big part of confident communication is learning to handle disagreement. How do you respond when someone challenges your ideas or opinions? Do you retreat, over-explain, or become defensive? Instead, try listening thoughtfully and responding with calm assurance. You don't have to win every argument to gain respect. Often, simply holding your ground and articulating your thoughts is enough to show your strength. Another key to effective communication is knowing when to listen. Confidence isn't about dominating the conversation, it's about engaging with others in a meaningful way. When you listen actively and respond thoughtfully, you demonstrate respect for the other person, which in turn increases their respect for you. Here's a practical exercise. In your next conversation, focus on removing filler words like like, or you know. These words dilute your message and make you seem uncertain. Instead, embrace brief pauses as a way to gather your thoughts. You'll be surprised at how much more powerful your words feel when you speak with intention. And remember, communication doesn't just happen verbally. Your actions, expressions, and even your silence speak volumes. If you want others to value you, your behavior must align with your words. Consistency is key. When people see that your actions match what you say, they'll trust and respect you more. Now, let's take a moment to reflect. Are you communicating in a way that reflects your value? Do your words and tone convey confidence, or are they undermined by self-doubt? What's one small change you can make today to communicate more clearly and assertively? If this resonates with you, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Comment number 1 below if you're ready to communicate with more clarity and confidence. Like this video to show your support, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss more strategies like this. Every word you speak is an opportunity to show your value, so let's keep building together as we move to the next strategy. Strategy 7. Display gratitude without overcompensating. Gratitude is a powerful force. It can strengthen relationships, build trust, and create meaningful connections. But here's the catch. Gratitude, when overdone or misplaced, can sometimes come across as insincere or even diminish your value. The key is to express genuine appreciation without overcompensating or losing sight of your own worth in the process. Consider this. How often have you gone out of your way to thank someone excessively, perhaps to the point where it felt like you were seeking their approval? While well-intentioned, this can shift the dynamic of a relationship, making you seem overly dependent or eager to please. True gratitude is about balance. It's acknowledging kindness without diminishing your own contributions or importance. The first step is to ensure that your gratitude is sincere. Are you expressing thanks out of habit, or because you genuinely appreciate the gesture? When you say thank you, let it carry meaning. Instead of generic phrases like "thanks for everything," be specific. "I really appreciated how you took the time to help me with that project. It made a big difference." Specificity not only shows genuine appreciation but also reinforces the value of the person's effort. At the same time, remember that gratitude is a two-way street. Just as you express thanks for what others do, you should also recognize the value you bring to the table. For example, if a colleague helps you with a task, acknowledge their effort without forgetting your own role in the success. You might say, "Your advice was exactly what I needed to finish this. I'm glad we could tackle it together." This creates mutual respect rather than a one-sided dynamic. Gratitude is also about timing. Have you ever met someone who constantly expresses thanks, even for the smallest things, to the point where it loses impact? Avoid this trap by reserving your gratitude for moments that truly matter. When you thank someone selectively and thoughtfully, it holds more weight. Now, let's address overcompensating. Do you ever feel the need to return a favor immediately or go out of your way to make up for someone's kindness? While reciprocity is natural and healthy, overcompensation can create an imbalance. It may signal that you feel undeserving of the kindness you received, which can unintentionally lower how others perceive your value. Instead, practice receiving gratitude gracefully. When someone helps you or compliments you, respond with genuine thanks, but resist the urge to downplay your worth or rush to even the score. For instance, if someone says, "You did a great job on that presentation," resist the impulse to deflect with, "Oh, it wasn't that great." Instead, simply say, "Thank you, I put a lot of effort into it and I'm glad it resonated." This response acknowledges their praise while maintaining your confidence. Another way to balance gratitude is to express it in action, not just words. While a heartfelt thank you is powerful, following it up with thoughtful actions demonstrates appreciation on a deeper level. For example, if a friend supported you during a difficult time, you might show your gratitude by being there for them when they need it most. Actions often speak louder than words, and they leave a lasting impression. Let's not forget self-gratitude. How often do you take a moment to appreciate yourself? Recognizing your own efforts, progress, and achievements is just as important as expressing gratitude to others. When you cultivate a sense of self-gratitude, it reinforces your self-worth and prevents you from seeking validation solely from external sources. Gratitude also requires discernment. Are there people in your life who take advantage of your appreciation or use it to manipulate you? If so, it's essential to set boundaries. Gratitude should never come at the cost of your own well-being or values. Thankfulness is a gift, not a currency to buy approval or maintain unhealthy relationships. Lastly, consider the Stoic perspective. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of gratitude, not just for the good in life, but for the challenges as well. He wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to think, to enjoy, to love." Gratitude isn't just about acknowledging what others do for us. It's about cultivating a mindset that sees every moment, every interaction, as an opportunity to grow and learn. So take a moment to reflect. How do you express gratitude in your daily life? Are you balancing appreciation with self-respect? Are you thoughtful and intentional, or are there times when you overcompensate or diminish your own value? The more you refine this balance, the more others will not only value your gratitude but also value you. Gratitude, when practiced authentically, strengthens the bonds of respect and admiration. It shows others that you see and value their efforts while standing firm in your own worth. This balance is the key to creating connections that are both meaningful and mutually enriching. Strategy 8. Develop emotional independence. A core aspect of emotional independence is the ability to regulate your emotions. When someone upsets you, do you lash out, shut down, or try to please them in hopes of smoothing things over? Emotional regulation doesn't mean suppressing your feelings. It means acknowledging them, understanding their source, and responding in a way that aligns with your values. Stoic philosophy offers powerful insights here. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Emotional independence comes from focusing on what you can control, your thoughts, actions, and responses, while letting go of what you can't. Another key to emotional independence is cultivating a fulfilling life outside of your relationships. Do you have passions, goals, and interests that are solely your own? When you invest in these areas, you create a sense of purpose that isn't tied to anyone else. This doesn't mean you don't care about your relationships, it means you're not solely defined by them. Let's talk about self-soothing. How often do you rely on others to make you feel better when you're upset or stressed? While it's natural to seek support, emotional independence means developing the tools to comfort yourself. This might include journaling, meditation, physical activity, or simply taking a few deep breaths to calm your mind. When you can rely on yourself for emotional stability, others will admire your resilience. Boundaries also play a critical role in emotional independence. Do you ever let someone's mood dictate your own? Do you feel responsible for fixing their problems or making them happy? While empathy is important, it's equally important to recognize where you end and someone else begins. Setting emotional boundaries allows you to stay grounded and protect your own well-being. Here's a practical exercise to build emotional independence. The next time you feel upset, pause before reacting. Take a few moments to breathe and ask yourself, what is within my control in this situation? Then, choose a response that reflects your values rather than your immediate feelings. Over time, this practice strengthens your ability to stay composed and confident, even in challenging situations. Imagine the impact this has on your relationships. When you're emotionally independent, you're no longer needy or reactive. You become someone who others look to for strength and stability. People value you more because they know they can count on you, not to take care of their emotions, but to handle your own with grace. So let's reflect. Are you relying too much on others for validation or happiness? What's one small step you can take today to become more emotionally independent? It could be as simple as pausing before you react or spending time nurturing a passion that's just for you. If this resonates with you, let us know by commenting number 1 below. Like this video if you're ready to reclaim your emotional power, and don't forget to subscribe for more strategies to elevate your life. Emotional independence isn't just a strategy, it's a way of living that unlocks respect, admiration, and freedom. Stay with us as we dive into the next strategy. It's one that can transform how others see you in powerful ways. Strategy 9. Keep your commitments. How often do we hear promises, only to see them broken? Or witness grand declarations that never materialize into action? In a world where words can be cheap, the ability to keep your commitments is a rare and valuable trait. It sets you apart, earning you trust, respect, and ultimately, the admiration of those around you. Keeping your commitments is about more than fulfilling promises to others. It's also about honoring the promises you make to yourself. Every time you follow through, whether for someone else or for your own goals, you reinforce your reliability and integrity. People notice this, and it makes them value you in ways that fleeting charm or empty gestures never could. Let's break this down. Why is keeping commitments so powerful? First, it builds trust. Trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship, personal or professional. When you consistently do what you say you will, people learn they can depend on you. This reliability makes you stand out in a world where follow-through is increasingly rare. Second, honoring commitments demonstrates respect, not just for others, but for yourself. When you agree to something and deliver on it, you're showing that you respect the time and effort involved, as well as the people counting on you. Conversely, breaking commitments signals a lack of regard for those same things. But let's be honest, keeping commitments isn't always easy. Life is unpredictable, and challenges often arise. So how do you ensure that you follow through? Start by being intentional with your commitments. Are you saying yes out of obligation or because you genuinely want to? Too often, we agree to things we don't have the time or energy for, only to let people down later. Before committing, pause and ask yourself, can I realistically fulfill this? Does it align with my priorities? It's better to decline up front than to overpromise and underdeliver. Once you've made a commitment, treat it with the same seriousness you would expect from others. Create a plan to ensure you can deliver on time and to the best of your ability. If it's a long-term goal, break it into manageable steps and set deadlines. The more organized you are, the less likely you are to let things slip through the cracks. Of course, there will be times when keeping a commitment becomes genuinely impossible. When this happens, communication is key. Let the person involved know as soon as possible. Explain the situation honestly, and offer an alternative if you can. People are generally understanding when they feel respected and informed. Here's an important point. Keeping commitments doesn't mean overloading yourself to the point of burnout. It's about balancing your responsibilities in a way that allows you to show up fully for what matters most. This often means setting boundaries and learning to prioritize. Now let's talk about self-commitments. How often do you set goals or resolutions only to abandon them when things get tough? Each time you break a promise to yourself, you chip away at your confidence and self-respect. On the other hand, following through, even on small commitments, builds momentum and reinforces your belief in your ability to achieve. Here's an exercise to strengthen your commitment-keeping muscles. Start with something small and specific, like committing to drink a glass of water every morning or setting aside 10 minutes to read each day. Follow through consistently for a week, then build from there. As you prove to yourself that you can honor these small promises, you'll feel more empowered to tackle bigger commitments. One of the most profound effects of keeping commitments is the way it influences how others perceive you. When people know they can rely on you, they start to see you as a leader, a person of substance, and someone worth investing in. Your words carry weight because they know your actions will back them up. Ask yourself, what are the commitments in your life right now? Are there areas where you've fallen short? If so, don't dwell on the past. Use it as a lesson to move forward. Identify one commitment you can honor today, no matter how small, and take action. Remember, keeping commitments isn't about perfection, it's about consistency. Each promise kept strengthens your character and deepens the respect others have for you. And perhaps most importantly, it strengthens the respect you have for yourself. When you make keeping your commitments a priority, you set yourself apart as someone who values their word and as someone whose value is undeniable to others. Strategy 10. Create moments of absence. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. It's a phrase we've all heard. But have you ever considered how it applies to the way people value you? When you're always available, always present, and constantly giving of yourself, it can unintentionally diminish your impact. Sometimes stepping back, creating intentional moments of absence, can make others appreciate you more deeply. Why does this work? It's human nature to take things for granted when they're always accessible. Think about it. When was the last time you truly valued something or someone until you didn't have it anymore? Absence gives people the space to reflect, to miss your presence, and to realize what you bring into their lives. But let's be clear. Creating moments of absence isn't about playing games or manipulating others. It's about respecting your own time, energy, and boundaries. It's about allowing space for relationships and interactions to breathe so they can grow stronger. Here's how you can put this into practice. First, evaluate how much of your time you're giving away. Are you constantly available to answer texts, calls, or requests? Do you feel like people have come to expect your immediate attention rather than value it when they receive it? If so, it might be time to pull back a little, not out of spite, but out of self-respect. Start by setting boundaries around your availability. This could mean designating off hours for personal time or politely declining invitations when you need a break. When you do this, you're sending a message. Your time is valuable, and you're not afraid to protect it. Creating moments of absence also applies to the way you interact with others. For instance, if you're in a conversation or relationship where you're always the one initiating, consider stepping back and giving the other person the opportunity to reach out. This isn't about testing them. It's about balancing the dynamic and ensuring that your presence isn't taken for granted. Absence can also be powerful in professional settings. If you're the person who always jumps in to solve problems or takes on extra work, try stepping back and letting others step up. You might be surprised at how this shifts the dynamic and at how much more your contributions are valued when they're not constantly given. But here's an important caveat. Creating moments of absence doesn't mean disappearing completely or withdrawing from relationships. It's about being intentional with your presence, When you're there, be fully present, engaged, and attentive. That way, when you're not there, your absence will be felt more deeply. Let's talk about the impact this has on others. When you create moments of absence, people start to realize the value of what you bring to the table. They reflect on the ways you've supported, inspired, or uplifted them, and they begin to appreciate you in a new light. Absence creates room for gratitude to grow. Now, this strategy isn't just about how others perceive you. It's also about how you perceive yourself. When you step back, you give yourself the opportunity to recharge, reflect, and focus on your own needs and goals. You cultivate a sense of self-sufficiency that reinforces your inner confidence and independence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Nowhere you can go is more peaceful, more free of interruptions than your own soul." Taking time for yourself, creating that absence from the external noise, allows you to reconnect with your core. And when you return, you're stronger, more centered, and more impactful than before. Here's an exercise. Identify one area of your life where you're giving too much of yourself, whether it's in a relationship, a job, or even social media. Commit to creating a moment of absence in that area this week. It doesn't have to be dramatic. Even a brief pause can make a difference. Watch how others respond and notice how it feels to reclaim that space for yourself. So what do you think? Are you ready to try this strategy and see how it shifts the dynamics in your life? If this resonates with you, let us know by commenting number 1 below. Like this video if you're inspired to create moments of absence, and don't forget to subscribe for more strategies to elevate your life. Creating space isn't about being distant, it's about making your presence more meaningful. And when you master this, you'll find that people don't just notice your absence, they eagerly anticipate your return. Let's move forward together, building a life where you're valued in every sense of the word. Thank you for being here on this journey. Congratulations, you've just unlocked 10 transformative strategies to ensure that others see and value your worth. But here's the most important takeaway. This journey isn't just about gaining the respect or admiration of others. It's about reclaiming your own self-worth and stepping into the fullest, most confident version of yourself. Think back on everything we've covered. From setting boundaries to cultivating emotional independence, from mastering the art of mystery to creating moments of absence, each strategy is a piece of a larger puzzle. Together, they form a blueprint for living with purpose, integrity, and self-respect. When you embody these principles, you don't have to demand value from others. They'll naturally give it to you because they'll see that you give it to yourself first. But this isn't a one-time process. Growth, respect, and self-worth are things you build continuously. They require practice, reflection, and sometimes a willingness to step outside your comfort zone. The good news: every small step you take brings you closer to becoming someone whose presence is truly valued. As we close, I want to leave you with a question. Which of these strategies will you start with? Maybe it's setting boundaries, maybe it's communicating with more confidence, or maybe it's creating a moment of absence. Whatever you choose, start today. The smallest action can create a ripple effect that transforms how you see yourself and how others see you. If you found value in this video, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who could benefit from these insights. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss future strategies for living a life of purpose and respect. Thank you for being part of this journey. It's been an honor to walk alongside you. Remember, the respect you seek starts with you. You are valuable just as you are. Keep building, keep growing, and keep shining. Until next time, take care and live with intention.